So the recording started. As I'm saying, like, I have issues with my personal laptop. For some reason, something happened. I couldn't able to run most of the program. Like the OBS is not working, the thing that I used for the recording, and I just figured it out last night. So I didn't quite have time to fix it. And by Wednesday, everything will gonna get fixed, hopefully. But for now, I'll be recording everything. I mean, I thought like I couldn't record it. Seems like I can record it here even. They have the obvious platform. Now, it'd be a little difficult for me to go on because my computer does have everything here. We have the Octave, so we can type the program and everything. It'd be a little bit difficult sometimes if I'd like to show something from my computer. Okay. Other than that, we should be fine. So what you wanna do? We wanna open a new editor, right? And then there is this command history. Okay, this is perfect on the side, and then we're gonna type the code, and the okay. The lecture is in record. Okay. By the way, so we are in week 4, lecture 1. However, we are actually in week 3, lecture 2. Okay. What is the topic for week 3? What did we start in last week? Matrices. Okay, and we are actually pretty much done. I know you have to go a little early, but I did put the video link, right, and as well as the .m file, right? So you've watched everything. You are up to speed. So in today's class, actually, what we'll be doing, very short class. Okay, so I have pretty much one example. That's it, and then we'll be done. Okay? And this kind of trend you'll be probably seeing from this point on rest of the semester. Okay, the second class will be really short. The reason for this second class is not actually to finish all the class material, because ideally out of these 2 classes, first class would be like finish the class material. Okay, second class would be like doing some example, and then if you have any question, I'd like to help you on that. Right? That's how I designed it. Any question? So that means like the second class could have and like if you could have really good typing speed, it could have and really early. But anyway, if it's a decent typing speed, it shouldn't be taking more than 5 minutes from this point on. Okay, but before I really start typing anything, let's talk about the class other stuff like the homework practice problem. I started grading some of it. You've seen it, right? Homework 1 and practice 1 for sure I graded it. Homework 2, practice 3, you guys are working on that now, right? So homework 2, practice 2 should be due today, right? Right? Is it due today or last week? It was due Friday. So okay, so okay, I was in an impression like it's due today. Anyway, so I'm gonna grade it before you come in Wednesday class. Yeah. Oh, the exercise. Yeah. Perfect. I need that for I'd say like another 2 homeworks, right? After homework number 4, you don't have to do it anymore. Homework 3 you're doing, do it. And I have a good grasp like you guys are practicing. So okay, any question with the homework? You guys are struggling or doing okay? No, then you can talk with me. Ideally, would like to start practicing before coming to the second class of any particular topic. Okay, so you have something for me. If you didn't start for the deadline submission, you don't have anything to come with me homework and practice when you have the opportunity like today, second class. Understand? I'm assuming this class you're probably not prepared that way, but from next class on you'll be doing it that way, right? I'm saying, say like next topic when I start on next class, right? After I make it like done, you have like plenty of time, just like next week or Monday when I'll come again, the plenty of time you start giving you the homework so you can ask the question, the homework and practice, right? This is the time, usually, okay? Everyone understand? Okay. I hope you're gonna follow that from next class on. But let's begin without further ado our actual topic today. Again, we are dealing with the matrices. Now, if I'm gonna ask you some basic question, okay, see if you remember them. So if I'm gonna ask you, I mean, I can type it here also. The question that I'm talking. Okay, so see, it's not like you have to write the answer or anything. Let's discuss a little bit how much you remember from last class. So transpose of a matrix. Difference. I'm gonna take it out all of it. Just want to discuss a little bit. Okay, difference between matrix and matrices. Okay, uh, so uh, how to define unit matrix and the purpose. All right, then addition, multiplication, addition, subtraction, multiplication of matrices, right? All right, length function, length function and command. So these are the thing, start and end command, length, okay, length function, then colon operator. Okay, let's see what you remember. Transpose. Okay, let's do a little discussion. Okay, even though I said the typing would going to take 30 minutes, but I feel like okay. Let's do a little discussion. Let's see how much you remember. You don't have to type anything. This is just some quiz kind of a question with non-graded. Obviously, I'm not going to grade anything. Let's see if you remember any of these. Okay. So what was the transpose? Transpose. Yeah, transpose of a matrix. What does it mean? Flip flop. Flip flop. Right. So change matrix like the row become column, column become row, something like that. You understand? Remember that? What's the second thing? Difference between matrix and matrices? What is the difference? Ben? How to define a unit matrix? You guys remember unit matrix, zero matrix? What is the purpose? I know you guys remember, but what is the purpose? This is the last thing we did in last class, okay? What is the purpose? As a last. You were here for 2 hours. Did you review the class? No? Like dot and file? I did. I retyped it. Alright, that's the last thing. Anyway, you remember that? No? The purpose of this is to make it computationally efficient. You know what this is? It's a technical jargon that I said computationally efficient means in a layman way is you're making the program faster. Okay. So it's computationally efficient. That means that, right? If you're making the program faster, you are actually saving the money, right? The time, computational time, and everything. People involved here. Anyway, so that's the reason. The reason is that you are defining those metrics, like the unit matrices, zero matrix. You are locating it in certain space in the memory. Okay. So every time, I'm trying to explain this elaborately. Okay. Every time you type a element, an entry element for a matrix, what happens? It have to work every time when you're typing something. Okay, it just goes one by one by one by one, storing that one by one by one by one. Rather, if you're gonna define it like 001, right? The matrix is already defined for 3355, 1000, 1000, whatever the matrix size is, right? Doesn't really matter. So it allocates that space in the memory. Does it make sense? So whenever you have those values get updated, the computer doesn't have to allocate the memory for every element separately. When it does every element separately, it takes more time. And it may sound like silly. Why even bother in MATLAB or Octave like this specifying a 3 by 3 matrix? Remember, you are not dealing with 3 by 3 matrix in real life. You are dealing with what, right? It's a big number, right? So this is very important. You would like to specify. Otherwise, especially MATLAB Octave compared to Python, this is slow program. You know that, right? There are other advanced program out there. This is slow, okay? So if you'd like to save as much time as possible, okay? And this is one of saving time for sure. When I'm saying saving time, you understand, you are running it and waiting for the result. That is called saving time. It's not like typing. Typing is done, code is working, you run it and take some time to execute the results. Nowadays, sorry, until now you haven't experienced any wait time. But believe me, if you have a big program, a complicated program, you have a decent wait time. Okay? It could be really significant as well, depending on the program. Okay? Moving on. Lat function. Anyone remember? Remember, I did say something about the lat. We did use the lat. I did talk about the lat, where it can be used, right? Any example? Anything come up in your mind about lat function? Well, first of all, why do you use the lat function?
So figure out the dimensions of the matrix.
The dimension of the matrix. How many elements is there, right? How many elements you're going to tell me? Like how many times possibly if I'm going to deal with the loop, for loop, while loop, how many times the loop needs to run? Doesn't make sense. So I need to know how many elements is there. An example that you've seen in last class. An example you've seen in last class, you remember? Time matrix, remember? Time new. We divide the colon operator, right? Initial time, increment time, the final time. Yeah. There's the colon operator. So that comes to the last point, the colon operator. See, we didn't use the colon operator in other cases. Remember, like what if we'd like to choose all the elements in a row? What if we'd like to choose all the elements in a column, right? We did use the colon operator. Do you remember that? Matrix chapter is so important. You really have to be good at this chapter. If you're not, you'll be struggling all through the semester. You'll be using this. Okay? Big data. All this data talks about matrix. Colon operator, we understand, right? Colon operator, initial value colon, increment colon, final value. Remember, you don't have to put increment in. When you don't have to put increment, if the default is 1, right? So like the time value is going from 0 to 10, like 0, 1, 2, 3, then you don't have to put increment. What if the time value goes like 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, then you got to put an increment value, right? So the initial value colon, some increment 0.1 or whatever, colon, the final value, whatever, the time. It's just a time matrix we're talking. Could be any matrix, right? Anything that coming in use in your own application. Recursion, addition, yeah.
So it defaults always to just integers.
What? Default to not integer could be anything. 256,000. Like 1. It defaults to 1. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1. Only one increment is the default. Okay? Nothing else. Okay. So if you have anything exceptional than 1, you choose. You have to specify where. The other thing, there are so many things we learned right in last class. Last class was really eventful, if you remember. Right? It was important class. Okay, the addition, subtraction. You guys remember addition? Let's talk with the addition, subtraction. If you try to do addition, right, with a mixed match matrix, do you think it will gonna work? No. As example, so like you have a 3 by 3 matrix and you have a 3 by 2 matrix. You try to add it, no, it's not gonna work. So the error you're gonna get immediately says, let me try to remember. It says indices mismatch. Okay, what you understand what means indices, right? Individual element. It's the number 3 by 3 comma. That's the indices. They're going to say these are mismatched. So you can do that. You fix it and then try it. Okay, means fix it means like you add the matrix or try different matrix to add it where the indices matches. Okay. What about the multiplication? How can deal with the multiplication? What's the common sense tells you? You have a select 3 by 3 matrix, right? And you are trying to multiply with some numeric number, right? Some constant number, say 2, 3, 4, 5, you name it, whatever. And multiplying the whole 3 by 3 matrix. When you are multiplying that constant number of 10, I'm talking, right? With a matrix, all the elements in the matrix will gonna get multiplied by that number. You understand that? If I have a 9 element, you know 3 by 3 matrix is how many elements? 9, right? 3 rows, 3 columns, 9 elements. So like you are trying to multiply by 2. So that 2 is going to get multiplied with each of the elements. Okay? You understand? So the divide goes like multiplication divide goes similarly, addition subtraction goes similarly. You'll remember that from this algebra knowledge, right? Any questions so far? These are the review. I mean, there are other things you did. If you guys remember, right? It's a, like, the colon operator. You use colon operator to grab one column or all the elements in one column or all the elements in one row and then comma to a specific column if the rows are defined already by colon. The same thing we've done it for if the column is specified by something, all the rows in that particular column we're talking, right? So many examples we did, right? If you remember, you gotta do a close review on last class, right? Based on that, everything goes on, right? And the homework, you gotta make sure you don't try to look for solution manual here and there, right? And there's different sources out there. You wanna make sure you wanna do it by yourself, okay? You really wanna do it by yourself, otherwise you'll be struggling. You will be. This is the foundation of everything, pretty much, okay? The matrices. Why I'm saying keep saying that foundation, because you gotta draw the plots all the time. From next class on, the plotting is coming, and these matrices you're gonna use it all the time. Okay, so this is, I guess, like the past class review. Let me put it this way: review from from last class. Okay, just some review, not all the review. Now today's class, right? So let me get my class on, by the way. See, I did say it will not going to take more than 30 minutes. I mean, we are starting at 24, so it will going to possibly take very well end of this hour, okay? Or maybe less, depends. Let's see. No hurry. So we are in title, first of all, obviously. Title is, this is week 4, lecture 1, right? That's matrices example. I'll just correct my typing, okay? So then title description. So we are solving a problem with matrices. And then your name is author, right? Then you can put further like your email and other stuff. Let me put my email. And then you want to start with the main code. I'm not holding too much myself here because you do know all these things, right? CLC, clear. Do you want me to write again? What is CLC again? Clear the command window. What is the clear? Clear the variables like workspace, right? Okay, and then close all the windows, right? I'm not writing the same thing again, right? Should I skip the writing of the notes for those 3 things? Yeah, you know that, right? Okay, so then we'll be doing what? Like they're using the matrix to solve the engineering problem, right? It's something like, as I'm saying, like example. All right, the first one that I would like to do is, yeah, that's where I am having some issues. Like, I wish I could. I think I can show you still. Just 1 second. Let me show you from OneNote. Very quickly. The first problem is a problem of which requires a little bit of background. Okay, so Everybody see that? I don't know, whatever reason this screen is not showing up. But let's try to understand what you're seeing here, okay? So, first of all, the circle that you're seeing is a globe. It's Earth, right? You know the radius of the Earth? It's not quite big, like 3,000 miles, right? 6,000, 8,000, I forgot it with myself, but we're going to see it in the problem, right? The example problem that I have. So let's try to a little bit more about the problem, what the problem is asking here. I have the more descriptions in the code, okay? But this problem on the circle that you're seeing here, you see a height h on the top of that circle, which is referring to a hill or some elevated space, right? Could be high skyscraper or something. The idea here is when you are up on the hill, you can see the horizon further, right? You know that, right? Compared to if you are in ground level. So the question here is trying to figure out, like, you know, how far that you can see on the horizon. Okay, the t value, you see that? As if like you think yourself on the top of the mountain, but there's small edges. You understand the sketch? Everybody understand the sketch? Say like you are standing on the top of H, right? H is the height of the mountain, okay? Top of the mountain, and you try to see how far you can see. So that's your eyesight. That's the D here in that sketch. Do you see that? Everybody agree? You understand the D, right? So now you know the radius of the Earth. I mean, that's common. You can Google it. You can find it there. If you know the height of the mountain, right? H. Then you can add that h with the r to find what? Hypotenuse of the right triangle. Is it it? So that's the everybody got it? Hypotenuse of the right triangle. You have the hypotenuse of the right triangle. You have in the right triangle the r value for the other leg, right? Can you find the d by using the Pythagorean? Huh? So in a right triangle, right? If you know two lengths, the other length can be found, right? By using the Pythagorean theorem. Like, you know, hypotenuse square equal to the other two legs square addition, right? You know that question? Everybody? It's a right triangle, okay? You see that hypotenuse, right? Hypotenuse square equal the height square plus the base square. Okay, that's the equation. That's Pythagorean. Okay? Anyway, so you got to understand what I'm trying to tell you here is that, you know, the length is wide is r plus h. You understand that? Okay, and then you have, that's the hypotenuse, by the way. And then you have this r is the radius, okay, and this is the d, as if like you're seeing from the top, and that much distance you can see, right? This is d. You understand? That is unknown. Okay. Okay, you know that, which is r plus h. This is r, right? And this is my center. Okay, this is r, and this is the d we're trying to find. Everybody understand the problem? You can take the note if you want to, but I have it written in my code as well. Okay, but I felt like I should show it to you here first. Okay, so you have a clear idea. Everybody have a clear idea now? Any question? Nothing? Good. All right. So then I'm gonna move to the PC. Okay, let's start with the code. So we're gonna deal with obviously using the matrices to solve a engineering problem. Okay, let me give you the background that I was talking about, right? So the background of the problem. So when you are on a mountaintop, now if I couldn't show it to you, then if I'm going to start typing, you couldn't probably visualize what I'm saying, right? So when you're on a mountaintop, it could or could not, I mean, it could vary. How far can you actually see? Okay, seems like I might have go with the next line. All right, how far actually you can see? Okay, So refer. I do have a PowerPoint as well. I can give it to you. Just I guess need to know basis. I mean, other than that, I mean, I feel like maybe it's not too important. Refer to the sketch I showed you from OneNote. Okay, and as I said, I have a PowerPoint as well. Okay, so from, if you want, I can draw it over there as well. Maybe I'm gonna draw it. Just 1 second. Let me finish the typing. Okay. So from the diagram, I feel I should be drawing because I'm saying diagram. What is the diagram that I'm talking? I'm gonna draw it in paper, in the board. So from the diagram, we can relate the distance, radius, and mountain height. I'm seeing everything. And mountain height by solving what we're trying to solve for d. What is the d? So this d can be written as d equal, okay, small d obviously, d equal SQRT, square root of h square actually before I start writing that, let me write the equation first. We can solve for okay, let me finish that. H square plus 2 multiply r multiply h. Okay, so let me give you the Pythagorean as well. Pythagorean theorem. So this is r square plus t square equal r plus h, r plus h square. Okay, you need to know a little bit of algebra as well. Okay, now it's time for me to kind of give you a little bit of more elaboration. Okay, so here, remember, so remember we had this r here, right, with the radius of what? R. Okay, and then we have this radius r here as well, right? And we have this mountain. Remember, we have this mountain. Then mountain height is h, right? And then from the top of the mountain, right, we can see the horizon. This is d, and I was saying, okay, this is the right triangle, right? Remember, so this is the hypotenuse. Again, what is the hypotenuse? R plus h square, right, equal r square plus d square. Everyone understand that? You guys remember from algebra, a plus b square equal to what? A square plus 2ab plus b square. You guys remember that equation? A plus b whole square. Let me show you. So you have this. That's from algebra. So a plus b square equal a square plus 2ab plus b square. You guys remember that from algebra? This is basic equation from algebra. Right? Ring a bell? Maybe, maybe not. That's a basic equation, okay? So now come back here. So this can be written as what? R square plus 2rh plus h square equal r square plus d square. Understand? I have r is a, that's the equation though. B is h, right? Can it be written that way? No? You guys never seen this equation?
I've seen it. I would have solved it differently.
The last time I did algebra was like 15 years ago.
It's okay, Jason.
Oh.
It's not too important. Okay, it's not too important for understanding the programming. This is the part that we are trying to understand the math. Okay, on the programming. Okay, so don't mix it. Okay, as long as you learn programming, you're good. Okay, so now come back again. Try your best. You have this a plus b square. You have this a square plus 2ab plus b square. That's the equation. Algebraic equation. Okay. Now you have this r plus h square. R is a, h is b. Can I write? A square is r square plus 2rh means 2ab, right? Plus b square, h square. It's so obvious, right? Forgot. Say like first time you're learning it. Does it make sense? If you are given that equation, it does make sense, right? Maybe not. Okay. So this r square is gonna go away. Go away? No. It's the same thing, right? Right and left. All right. So then you'll be living with what? 2rh plus h square equal d square. Now you are trying to find what? The value of the d, right? You are doing square root in both sides. So then it would be 2rh plus h square. Right? No? Yes? Okay. So then, is that what I just wrote over there? Square root sqrt square root function, right? Same thing. Square plus 2rh. Can you solve this problem now? As long as you know the r value and the h value, right? Then you should be. Okay, let's see if we can solve it all together. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay, so the problem statements. Okay, now those are just the background. Okay, before even you start typing the program. So the problem statements. So it says here, okay, use the above expression to find the distance of what? Distance to the horizon on Earth, right? For mountain from 0 to 800 meter, sorry, 8,000. Let's put a 8 kilometer tall mountain. Tall. The radius of Earth is 6,378 kilometer. You see? So the h value, they said like, okay, you have a mountain which is 8 kilometer tall. You know, 8,000 meters is 8 kilometer, right? And the Earth radius is given. Okay, why you bother the matrix to solve this problem? Take a look here to see the mountain height h can vary with the range that I'm suggesting here, 0 to 8 kilometer, right? It makes sense? So you can go, that's your choice though, you can go the increment, just like in last lesson learned, like defining the matrix with the h value, the mountain height. We'd say like interval of like 1 meter or interval of 1 kilometer. Your choice. It's 8 kilometer total, right? 8,000 meter means 8 kilometer. So you can choose like whatever the interval you want. So like you are so precise guy. You would like to go with okay the every 1 meter mountain distance. So then you would like to define a matrix where the start value would be 0, the end value would be what? 8,000, and the increment would be 1, and then you just define. Just like in last class. Remember how do you define that? H equals 0 colon 8,000. That will be gonna 1 meter with interval, right? Remember that? Time? Everybody remember that? The time matrix we define 0 to 0 colon 10, right? Okay, so that's one way of dealing with that. The other way could be if you have some like interval, I don't know, like 100 meter interval, right? So like if the mountain if it's no mountain, it's 0, right? 0. And if it's a mountain like 100 meter, small mountain, right? It's not even mountain, it's like something similar to your higher space. So 100 meter. So then the next one would be 200 meter. This is up to 8,000. So like you want to define a matrix where the 0 and 8,000, 0 and 8,000 are initial and the final values, and the interval will be 100. So you would like to define, say like h equal 0 colon 100 colon 8,000. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, so that's the second case, and any way you can define. So it's your choice how do you like to define the H matrix. Okay, everyone got it? So if that's the case, then as you can see here, this becomes a matrix problem, right? So you gotta solve for different values of the H. The value of the D would be different, right? Depending on like how high is the mountain. You can see possibly a little bit far to way too far, right? Like you guys are tracker here. Anyone of you? You're tracking. I did tracking a lot once. So many mountains in Everett, more than 50 something peaks there. I did discover a few of them, 4 or 5. One point I started doing tracking long 5-6 years ago. Okay, then you would be. I mean, you guys visited Whiteface Mountain, so you've seen like how far you can see from Whiteface Mountain tops, right? This is really high hill. Okay, so moving on. All right, so the problem statement done, and then let's start with the givens. Now you remember, like in engineering format, in one class we did talk about it, right? What are the components? Given, found, then the solution, and then the sketch. Obviously, we refer to go to that page or whatever the supporting documents you have, right? So you wanna do like the givens from engineering format, right? So givens are what? So your H value are given as a matrix. I did talk about it, right? So like I don't want to go. I'm not that precise guy. I don't want to go every 100 meter. I want to go say like every 1 kilometer, right? I can do that. So the way I can do it, like okay, since they gave you the height in meter, I'm gonna stick with that same unit, right? So it's like 0. Okay, 1,000 and 8,000, right? So basically, how many data I have? 9 data points, right? All right. So then, obviously, would like to explain what it is that you just typed here. So it's meter, right? This is your mountain height. I have to say heights because it's a series of heights, right? Okay. So then you have this R value, which is R is what? You guys remember? It's the radius of the Earth. It's 6,378. Now it's in kilometer though. It's not in meter. So 2 different units. So it's in kilometer, and that's the radius of Earth. Okay. What you're trying to find? You are trying to find the distance d to the horizon for all heights in height matrix. Okay. So as I said, like for diagram, see the class note, because I hope you did draw everything and write the notes, right? See the class note for diagram. Assumptions. Now there can be some assumptions made. I didn't quite specify. Let me put it here. Okay. So the solution, right? The final thing that you guys are waiting for it. Right? The solutions. So on the solution itself, what you're gonna do first, converting that h to kilometer, like in meter, right? So you wanna convert the meter to kilometer because the Earth radius is in kilometer. So convert the heights from meters to kilometer, which is h equal h divided by, there's one other important thing that I'm doing here. You see, you can literally define the same matrix variable name whenever you are doing the conversion. Okay, you don't have to define a new variable name. Okay, so that's kind of a standard. So you would like to define the new unit as kilometer, right? and this is still the mountain height. All right, so now the final thing is like obviously you are calculating the distances to the horizon. Now I'm saying distances, right? Because there are so many h, so many d will gonna be come as well. So horizon. So here's the thing, important thing that I'd like to specify. If you have a matrix, right, and you are doing the algebraic symbolic math, just the way I'll be doing next, right, writing the square root equation, it will gonna give you the result as matrix as well. Does it make sense? So you have H matrix, remember, so many height. So the D horizon will be so many as well. So the way I can write this, D equal round, remember the round was a default function? Yes.
Is it only maybe a little brighter? The brightness?
Hmm?
Like the brightness?
Oh, yeah, I should be. Let me see. Bright, change brightness is, I don't know. For whatever reason.
It's a little dark.
Yeah, I understand, but you see, whatever reason, the brightness is not showing here. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is not my computer.
It's not the end of the world, I was just asking.
Yeah, this one was much better. For some reason, this is not working. I'm gonna tell IT that they should take care of this, right? Is this something that I'm doing? For that reason, it's not working. So, okay. Maybe if we can restart that. Yeah, that one is turned off for whatever reason, okay? If you have a stick like that, then okay. Let me finish the writing. Okay, I know you gotta go. So square root, right? Square root. Then h. That's very important. Don't leave. So that's very important. I'd like to show it to you. So this h is a matrix. You guys remember that, right? So that's why when I'm doing h square, remember that equation? I have the h square. When I'm doing h square, you're gonna put a period before the power sign. That's so important. Whenever you're doing the matrix, before the power, must have to put a period. Okay, otherwise it will not gonna work. So
Is that only for exponential changes?
Exponential changes are, you know, anytime you have an exponential for sure. Okay, for divide you do, but other cases you're gonna see, but not for addition and subtraction. But you know, for sure exponential. Okay, remember that. So okay, so let me finish that. So that's so important. So plus like this 2 multiplied r multiplied h. You see, when I have the h, I didn't put a dot when I'm doing multiplication. Okay, so for exponential, for power, for sure. Okay, for divide, you, if I remember correctly, divide you have to do it, but for multiplication, no. Okay, so anyway, that's so important. Okay, everybody's clear with that? Understand? So it's like the kilometer is the unit, right? So that's the distance to the horizon. Okay, so now let me give you the explanation about the dot. So note here the dot that I had, this dot, remember, tells Octave to do element, okay, element by element operations. So in other words, it could very well refer to multiplication. You can put a dot, but for this case multiplication is not required. So multiplication, division, exponents, okay, on non okay. All right. So for the homework, I'm almost done. So for the homework, I have just few suggestions. Okay. So you have like, say, like the thermo score. In the homework, you are given with some values for scores, right? So like thermo is a subject, they probably give you like X number of students scores, right? So first of all, how gonna write it? Okay. That's the homework hints. Okay. I'm just doing it for you because you have to leave. Otherwise, I'm going to give some time. So I'll explain everyone again, okay, what I'm doing here. So for the homework hints, okay. So for the homework, so you can copy paste data, but need to format, okay. So there's the problem with the copy and pasting. So the format should be like you want to use the ellipsis. So ellipsis in Octave tell it the data continues on to the next line. That's what's so important. So so let me show you the example. Say like you have this thermo scores. Now remember, anytime you have this two thing like thermal scores, two syllables, right? You want to put as underline to connect them. No space allowed, right? Everybody remember that? So see, like it's a big data, right? You don't want to type it probably one line. So you want to use the ellipsis. Ellipsis. What means ellipsis? Ellipsis means 1, 2, 3 dot. See, immediately you put this 3 dot. What happened? This become green. That means it's going right way, right? The way you want. Then you can go to the next line. As if like it's reading still the same line. Does it make sense? And now you'd like to define that matrix, right? So matrix could be like 168, right? You have 45, like 92. Now those are like, you know, first one would be indices, right? Like student number 1. Second one would be student number 2, 3, 4. That way, like first column goes on. The second, third, and fourth column, those three are the 3 scores for 3 different exams or 3 different homework, right? Everyone understand that? So that's for student number 1. Say like Ben got these 3 scores, right? No, these are low scores. But say like somebody got these 3 scores. Let me put it this way, okay? And then so the student number 2, okay, come up, okay, and then obviously then I gotta put a semicolon. Remember why I put a semicolon? If I'm gonna go to the next row, right? These are still the first row component, all 4 of them, right? You understand? Next row. So then I don't want to do it in the same place, so I'm gonna put this 3 dot, which is again what? Ellipsis, right? Next line, as if like reading the same line. Okay, so now I have this second student, little bit did good in exam 1, exam 2, and exam 3. It's a little bit better score, score guy or gals, and then continue doing that, right? So that is student number 3, okay, and then again the scores are not that impressive, except the final score is good for everyone. Do you see what I'm doing now? Okay, so I don't want to obviously do the whole thing. Let me write the last line. So like I have these 4, say like 4 students in this class. Obviously that doesn't closely mimic what you have to do in exam, right? So in homework. So 93, 90, 92, and I'm ending it, okay? I don't have any more ellipses, so it's done. Okay, then it's asking so many things. So like just pick student number 3 scores, okay? How gonna get it? So say like student number 3, and then remember the thermo scores. That's the matrix you define, and then 3 is the row, and all the column for this row 3. Does it make sense? Okay, and you'd like to display it obviously, right? And then I'd say like there are other things as well, like thermo scores, test 1, then test 2, test 3. If you're gonna get all of them, then get the final average, okay? You guys should be good, right? Now what I'm doing, like this is week what, like 4, lecture 1. This is spring 2026. Let me save it because I gotta put it on Brightspace as well. And that's it. That's all lecture. Now I would like to see whether it is running properly. So so where is the command? The command is actually at the bottom, command window. Okay, see here, that's the student 3 score. Everybody see that? Okay, I do have some other things like how to find the test average. That's part of the homework. I don't feel like should you, okay, the remaining solution, but this is how you should be dealing with the homework. You see the scores clearly, right? Everybody see that D, the horizon distance that it showed up. Now, why do you have like this 9 different D or horizon distance? Because you have
the height changes.
Height, yeah, height 1 every 1 kilometer, right? 9 different height, start from 0. That's why you have this thing, okay? All right. So the thing is like here, in the editor. Okay, so it's just one final thing here. Okay, so in the homework, it's asking you the average score, right? So how to find the average score? So you gotta pick like those scores, right? Remember, that's what you learned in last class. To pick any column values from any particular row, how to do that, right? You learn it. So say like a specific one, you like to get like all the column value from particular sorry, all the row values from particular column, right? So say like you wanna get the test score 1, which would be what, column number 2, right? But all the rows, right?
So a colon, comma, 2.
Yeah, the first one is row. So all the rows is column. You're right, absolutely. Comma 2. Yeah. So that's the test score 1, right? It makes sense. That way you can get test score 2, test score 3, you can get average, right? Like that. Yeah, definitely.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're allowed to go well.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. But I wanted to just wrap it up because like the rest. But you guys have done in the typing and everything.
Yeah, I just have an error or so.
No, you are good. Wednesday. You can deal with the homework by yourself. Jason, you can deal with the homework by yourself.
Yeah, I just have.
Okay, I'll deal with that.
Well, I'm not getting the yeah, it says the error is done.
Just that.
Oh wait, that's
Should be there.
its name.
Syntax 7 there. Oh, yeah. So the next thing I was about to do is like, just separate the code one by one. So maybe I'll try this option in command running and see if it
Oh,
runs
okay,
that.
yeah. So I put like percent signs and all that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
so like this segment is okay, so this is my problem. That is the right road to go. Put the question mark. 1 by 6 matrix means like 1 column and 6 row. No, 1 row and 6 column, right? Yeah. You can transpose it. Yeah, one column. One you so that would be 6 1, right? 1 column 6 row. Column row is first. Which one? Show me. Number E.
One matrix, 6 rows, 1 column.
So 6 row. Okay, so 6 1. You gotta get a 6 row matrix of what? Combine matrix G and T. Matrix E. And what is the D? Okay, do you have the D already?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want 6 by 1. So So whenever,
That one's right.
no, the E, you are doing the E, right? So you see your B, which is good, like all three rows, and your D is also three rows. Now you would like to put those three rows after these three rows, and the way you can deal with the row is you can do it's common to column. You can do is okay, so then maybe now is comfortable with your anybody else have any question with the homework? Everybody else is feeling good? Okay. I'm leaving that. Usually the second class will end well early, okay? Just to give you a heads up. But from next week on, what we'll be doing? Just prepping yourself as much as you can for the homework before you come to the second class. Like the way Jason was asking me question, okay? So you can ask me more questions with all the homeworks. I can help you in person.